things like that. So what do you make of this particular move by the federal government?
Thank you. You see, the move is necessitated by the current economic situation in Nigeria. If you look at our inability to finance our budget, a budget deficit of over 9 trillion naira, coupled with the major challenges in borrowing we have, then you would realize that the government have to go around to scheme out other strategies to ensure that they generate money, which made them to look at the current windfall tax as an important area. It would help the country in a significant way by fueling infrastructural development. It would help also in other welfare development projects, and perhaps it would help in education, in agriculture, and in various sectors of the economy. This, I believe, would fuel growth, because we cannot continue to borrow. If you look at our GDP to debt ratio is over 50%, well over and above the 40% benchmark for the country. So I think part of the reasons also that made the government look at that direction is the significant, or rather the ridiculous profit that is being recorded by these commercial banks, by the financial institution, which is due to the policy direction by the government. Right from the announcement of the unification of the exchange rate, we have seen a devaluation of our currency by over 100% in the year, within 7 months in the year 2023. So that actually is part, or is the major reason that necessitated that. Okay. Out of that transaction alone, the financial institution, the banking industry have generated profit that is in trillions of naira, which it is believed that it is not fair, and it is at the detriment of other producing and manufacturing companies, that...
So it's fair if it should go to the public?
It is quite fair if it would go to the public.
But again, there's this, the initial proposition was that of just 50% of that amount. And now it has been jacked up by the National Assembly to 70%. Don't you think that would discourage banks and other businesses and, looking at the operating environment at this point in time?
Well, any policy decision, that the government takes comes with challenges, but what matters is to weigh out, to strike a balance between which outweighs which. Is it the benefit or the challenges, So that would inform the decision on whether it is strategically important or necessary to go for such kind of policies or not. So owing to the fact that, you see, the core activities of the banking institution is not affected on this tax per se, because the lending and borrowing activities is not going to incur any windfall tax, if you see the exorbitant, or let's say the significant, the outrageous profit recorded by this bank, you would want to think that you may agree with me that it is at the detriment, of other important sector of the economy. So I think the 70%, I want to believe that is influenced by certain important reasons, to do that. And perhaps part of the challenges, I think, we have seen that the stock prices is going down. It's good to also have a balance and see what is the consequences that the economy will bear should, in case this policy is being activated.
Okay, these monies have been somehow allocated to infrastructure, education, and health. I don't know about others, but you think this particular area is very much important to really put that money. I know it's important, but should it not go to other sectors as well, considering the fact that it has been jacked up to 70%?
Well, I think welfare programs is also part of it, because we're aware of the current economic hardship, And these areas that this money is going are areas that are necessary to drive the economy. Without education, the government, the nation cannot grow above the required limit. Without health, how can we live? So all these areas that it is going, I think it's necessary, because this is a profit that is made out of government policy, and it goes way at the detriment of the economy. We have seen it has affected the inflation figures in the country because of this policy, while a particular sector, a particular business aspect of a sector is benefiting outrageously. So I think the whole idea is about ensuring the fiscal sanity of the country. So it is really strategically necessary that we embrace and accept it, in spite of the growing concerns about it in terms of whether it would pose systemic risk on the bank or not. And I really think that this can't pose systemic risks. If you look at other countries also...
Then another thing is, what is the possibility of passing this to the customers now? Because we've seen in, company tax where a large chunk is taken from these companies. At the end of the day, this tax would now be passed on to the customers to somehow address that as a part of banks' method of making profits.
Well, as I told you earlier, this tax...
Are we likely to see that in this situation, whereby the customer, the customer bear the brunt after everything?
No, I don't think so. Because when the impact of this policy that led to the outrageous profit recorded by banks is due to the revaluation of their holdings in foreign exchange currency, and perhaps their forex transactions in the sale of their bonds and stocks and other financial instruments. So perhaps this have skyrocketed their profit. It has magnified their profit beyond limits, which is not really part of the core activities of the bank, which is deposit and lending money. So I don't think borrowing and deposit will be affected